Hey everybody, it's Eric from the Mature Minded Gamers. Tonight, me and Brad and Will are going to cover Star Trek Discovery. This is season 3, episode 12, and I forgot the title. Anyways, it's episode 12. We'll get to the title here later. Guys, we start this one out with Osira's ship chasing down Discovery, which is being controlled by Osira and her crew, and they're laying some fire down on it. And so, as long as you remember what happened last episode, you know this seems weird. And then it's soon to be known that they are trying to plant a trap. So the Federation will let them in their little special bubble under the disguise that, they're in distress from Osira's ship doing damage and that it's really the Discovery crew. But Captain Vance wasn't born yesterday. And he can tell he definitely suspects something's going on. But they end up still letting him in here. What do you guys think of this whole first introduction scene?
It definitely went a lot quicker than I imagined it would. From last episode into this one, I expected there to be a little bit more, I don't know, like ship to ship battle, I suppose, or not battle, but like subterfuge, I guess. Them trying to fake their way into the Federation. I don't know. I guess I just expected there to be more either song and dance or more resistance. I think that this whole sequence happened a lot quicker than I imagined it would, but it was also interesting to me to see Book's ship come through as quick as it did. Even though they had a transwarp conduit, it seemed pretty convenient that there was an entry point close to where they were at and an exit point close enough to Federation space to make it convenient.
I don't think we knew why they were going to the Federation space, did we? From last episode, I was a little surprised that she actually wanted to negotiate.
Well, I didn't. I thought, based on the end of last episode, going into this one, that she wasn't going to negotiate. She was going to go to try to take over.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, same here. So I was a little bit surprised by that. And then we also saw Burnham going with Book, like you said, through the portal, which I didn't cover, but that was a lot of wreckage in that portal.
Yeah, there was like a ship inside. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. And, he mentioned that's why they don't use the portals, but they are there. You think they would get cleared out and used more, though, without having dilithium. But, anyways, that's another topic. But, yeah,
right,
so
right.
they make it through. And then they, as the ship is trying to go through the little bubble, because Vance opens up the bubble just enough for Discovery, they ram that thing right in the butt and right into the old port, and they end up getting in with them. And then Book ends up kind of sacking himself so Burnham can go off, and she's got like a special cloaker that Book gives her. So Burnham can run off and save the day, and we get a little Die Hard love here. What do you think of this whole part? I mean, this is kind of typically what we see, Burnham kind of going rogue and being a badass. Nothing really out of the normal, except for she did get stabbed kind of early. That little knife wound was kind of weird, but whatever.
I think it's funny you call out the Die Hard because when she took her got her shoes pulled off of her, that's what I was thinking as well, man.
Well, she even said that reference. You're gonna have to send more. What do they call them? Regulators or whatever.
Right.
That was her version of Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. The episode is actually called "There Is a Tide." So I'm trying to think of like how that really like equates to this episode though, but
yeah, I don't know.
Well, these are it's definitely a 3-part episode going on. I don't know why they didn't label it that way. Maybe they all 3 together mean something. I haven't looked that closely at it. Maybe it's part of a poem or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Just this whole season definitely seems like it's that way though. As far as just all runs and ties together, which I like.
All right,
but
so
I thought it was really awesome how when Burnham just kind of like was fighting that guy, used her legs and just like tripped that guy up, and then she's going through the Jeffrey tubes and how they were able to like isolate and figure out where she is. I thought that was pretty awesome. What was that thing that she like started phasering? All of a sudden she has this ability to like create guns. What's that from? Did I miss something?
Yeah, I didn't know where she got that weapon too, but I wasn't watching this episode wasn't the only thing I was doing, so I just figured maybe I missed where she grabbed it from.
So her combat seems to be able to do a lot, which we've seen, seen it do the new futuristic combats do a lot more, and I think that's where it came from.
Yeah.
Though I don't know why she couldn't make a medical tricorder and repair her leg. Maybe I'm wrong about that. We'll have to rewatch that. All right, so we get Tilly and the crew doing some Morse code, and they work out a plan to defeat the regulators and get themselves free to try to retake the ship. What else did I miss? Oh, we get the whole conversation with the poop, which was fantastic. You'd mentioned that earlier, Will. I thought that was really nice to see Vance, talk about how, actually, Osiris started it. And she mentioned, you've never had a real apple? And he said, no, we don't go to the links that you go to get recreational, or however you worded it. We don't endanger or hurt other people just for our own benefit, basically, is what he was saying. We're still Starfleet, is what I heard. And Vince, that my old man who I kind of thought was a traitor, he held strong, and I do not think he's a traitor now. Another nice tidbit they added in is there's a president, which we haven't met or heard about until now. Any speculation who the president might be?
None at all. But I would be surprised if there actually even was one, if he was just kind of playing it off like there is one.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. I thought it would be like a Klingon or something we haven't seen, species, or I don't know. That's what I was thinking, something like that. I joked with Will that it was Riker, but Riker will say today. One thing cool to mention, though, and it was kind of overlooked by me the first time, is Burnham sent a message to her mother. So I think the Romulans and the Vulcans are on their way to save the day here. We'll talk about that here a little bit later. I think that's going to be an ending point to next episode. It's going to look like the Federation is going to fall, and then boom, here comes the Romulans, Vulcans. We're back in the Federation, motherfuckers, and time to die, and they're going to save the day. I think is what's going to happen. But anyways, yeah,
that's interesting. I think it's going to be just her mother. I don't think the entire Vulcan high command, or whatever they're called now, is going to come to show the day. I think it's going to be just her mom and maybe a few of the other Zatvas, or not what? No, it wasn't it. What's their?
That sounds right.
I can't ever remember the name of that sect.
I think you're close, or unless
Zatvash was the other thing in the card. It's the something sisters. I don't know. Whatever that group is, I think it's only going to be a few of them, because they always attach themselves to a lost cause.
I don't. Yeah, but I can't see that saving the day. How's that going to save the day for the Federation?
It might. I mean,
so we get another interesting point. Though let's rewind just slightly. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we get to meet the Doctor, who the Doctor of the Bad Side, or Osiris Doctor. I forget his name right off the top of my head, but it's played by the gentleman who has been in a Klingon, I believe, is what I read, in several other Trek shows. And he recently announced he has ALS, and so he's back, but he's in a wheelchair because he, can't walk in real life, which I thought was a really cool thing for them to do, to bring him back that way. And because, if he's a Klingon, I think the way the Klingon culture works is that, you just want to die, or they just would have killed him if he's in a wheelchair, right? And that way we don't see any like handicapped Klingons. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about the Klingon in that way. I mean, it sounds legit.
So anyways, I think they did a great job, and he did a great job acting, and we see a different side of the Emerald Chain. So it's, he is in love with what Osiris doing, and she knows she's doing it for the greater good, and he's kind of looked past all these things or rumors that are said about her, and said, you don't know the true Osiris. But he's tasked with figuring out how to run the mycelial network, and he gets one-on-one with Stamets. And man, they had some great dialogue back and forth. I hope we see more of that, though I'm afraid we won't. But I really liked them going back and forth. And he mentioned that, he noticed about the opera, and they're both opera lovers, and that he was married and had children because of his piercing. Who do you think he's married to? Is it Osiris? Or is that too obvious?
I don't know. This show is like really throwing me off, because on things like this, I'm looking at him going, man, that is too obvious. Like some of the decisions and some of the things they're doing would be too obvious, and they end up going with that anyway. So I don't know. I guess I'm not going to be able to make that call.
I think that's a brilliant idea, man.
They never really gave any other indication of it. So I think it could be, but I'm not sure. But speaking of calling things out early, remember season 2 when I said our villain would be back? He is back, and he's the head of the enforcers, or not the enforcers, the
regulators.
The regulators. And he's got his little frozen hand. He meets Tilly and mouths off to her, and he's still the same guy. He hasn't really changed. Still an a-hole. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get to see Tilly finally finish him off, because he made that comment that you should have killed me the first time or something like that, you know. So
Mhm.
I'd bet money on it. Tilly's going to finish him off and be like, you know, great one-liner, bam, you're dead. Because Tilly's
Yeah.
become showing that she's got brass and balls now. I mean, she's making executive orders, and she even tells her little bridge crew, you know, if one of us falls, keep going. We're taking the ship back. She's
Yeah.
really, her character's really took command, and man, I mean, I'm impressed. I like it. All right, so up to this point, have I missed anything you guys want to talk about? Nope. Okay, so the interrogations, well, oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? The negotiations. Thank you, Eric. The negotiations between Vance and Osira seem to be going well at first, and again pinpoints more to Vance's belief in Starfleet and what they stand for, and then all of a sudden they're getting ready to sign this contract, and he says, "I need you're going to have to make this work." Oh, and one other side point about this too. Do you remember her saying that a star base, my good lord, a star base has been trading with the Emerald Chain for almost a century, and
Mhm.
she names it. I thought that was kind of cool. So I think that's going to come into play later on, maybe, where we're going to see a divide, depending on what happens here. But I think we're going to see a divide about who's aligned to who, and so forth, because the Emerald Chain does seem to be helping some people, but not mostly themselves. But anyways, so he wants to hold her accountable. So basically, she's going to be put on trials for all her bad deeds and everything that she needs to be held accountable for. But she does not want to do that at all. And she even mentions that she wants to put like a scientist as like a puppet for herself. Or Vince says, he's just going to be a puppet. And so, anyways, so that breaks negotiations, and that deal is done. And she leaves and goes over to Discovery after Michael has woken up and saved Stamets, and he doesn't want to go because he wants to go back and save Hugh and
Adira.
Adira and Saru. And he did some great acting right there. But we also got great acting from Michael, who's finally showing that she believes in Starfleet, and this is the thing she has to do to save Starfleet. Because if Stamets gets in the hands of Osira, she's just going to use the spore drive to just own the galaxy basically. And
Right.
so she sends him out, blows a hole through the ship, sends him out in a little force field for Starfleet to pick him up. And he does not want it to go down. She's even has to Vulcan nerve pinch him. And so I think it was my buddy Mike I was talking this episode about. He thinks Stamets might go evil from here on out, like because if they die. If Hugh and them die, because we were talking about that possibly happening, maybe Hugh dying, maybe Saru, maybe just Adira living or something. Who knows exactly how it's going to go down, but something to that effect. Stamets is going to lose one of them, I think, and he may become the next villain for season 4. You guys think that's possible?
Yes, I can see that perfectly as a possibility here.
I don't know about a villain. I could see him getting email like he did when Hugh died the first time. He was
Well,
really hard to deal with.
And here's the problem, though, is if he does, well, guess what? No more spore drive.
Yeah, that's true. Unless Adira comes up with another way to do it.
I mean, the way he was like screaming at Michael and what he said to her about, we came to the future for you so you wouldn't be alone, and you're gonna just leave him. I mean, I know he's not really thinking about like making the hard call and the greater good, but man, as he makes some like just heart-wrenching comments to Michael, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really good.
I don't know about great acting. I think when he was like rushing towards the thing, how he was kind of like just acting like a 3-year-old, shaking his head back and forth. I just kind of like, oh my gosh.
It's like original series acting.
Right.
I don't know, man. When you're put in a situation like that, and he didn't know Adira even went over there, so he was going to lose Hugh, and now he's going to lose everybody he cares about. I mean, he just called her her daughter, or his daughter. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. So much things going on right now. I could see being emotional. Okay, so that happens, and let's see. Book gets captured with I forget his name, the Andorian, who's been helping them.
Ren.
Ren, yes, thank you. And they get captured, and Ren refuses to help Osira, and she even makes a comment. Now you've grown a spine, huh? And so Book is nice and tries to make a deal with Osira, and
which I was surprised by.
well, I think Book at this point knows that if nobody goes back to save them, that they're gonna die. So maybe he had another alternative plan. I don't know. I kind of didn't know if he was just doing that to save Ren, because that seemed like a lot, but maybe he was. He does seem to try to protect Ren a lot, but
Yeah.
So in Adira, Osira doesn't want anything to do with it though, and she, says fine, murders Ren, and tells the doctor to make some truth serum to put into Book to make sure he's telling the truth. And I think that's obviously where they're going to head next episode, especially from the end, the previews for the next episode. That looks like it for sure. Michael ends up getting captured at the very end by what was his name? The guy from episode 2. Can't think of his name right now. And the crew is getting weapons unloaded when they meet a new ally. What do you guys think about this? The 3 robots with, if you notice, one was red, one was blue, and one was
Yellow.
So the main callers of Starfleet, which I thought was kind of a cool touch. You think that's going to be their roles? One was going to be a security officer, one was going to be the commander, or you think not? I think that was,
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. I noticed they were 3 different colors, but I didn't put any of that together.
Yeah, I didn't.
That's a great call out.
I don't think it's really going to mean anything. I think it was just kind of done as a nice little ado. But I did like it. So I think they're going to be a big part of this, though, don't you guys? For the next episode, helping the crew take over the ship.
Oh yeah.
I did think it was interesting where but Osira and the other thing. Osira's main second in command. Her species is the same as the girl from Picard, from the episode where the 2 kids are on the planet when Mars first gets attacked and their parents die. I don't think we've ever seen that species before.
Didn't look familiar to me.
Yeah, it didn't to me until I thought about that girl. And it's the exact same. She's got the exact same. I went back and looked at it. The exact same cranial marks and dots and stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I wonder if it was supposed to be her.
I mean, not unless she can live for a long time, right? But who knows with how we're going? It may be. But I didn't really think so. I didn't think that. Just the same species. Okay, so what do you guys think of that whole thing? What do you think is going to happen with the robots? Are they going to do something amazing, or are they just going to kind of just be like more allies?
I think they're just going to be more allies.
I don't know. I hope we kind of get some answers. Maybe because that was kind of like a big thing, and then all of a sudden, what have they really done?
Yeah, they really haven't helped much. They helped with the one problem, crew morale,
right?
And what was the other? They did some kind of calculations or something, didn't they? I thought I helped out one more time at some point.
Yeah,
I don't remember
the
what
one
it was.
I mean, the sphere data is the one that suggested the movie, and trying to think of what other ways the sphere data has gotten involved. But I mean, that's the biggest one, is when they basically needed shore leave.
I was thinking to do one other thing, but maybe that was it. It's been a while since we've seen anything from it, and I don't really know what they're going to do unless it's going to be able to infiltrate the system and stop like a self-destruct or something, like that. If that's what she decides to do with the ship once it gets almost captured back or something, I don't really know. I did think it was kind of impressive how fast they wiped the ship's systems and got their stuff up and running, because normally that's a whole show for all the other Treks, somebody infiltrating it and trying to break into the system, and they did that really quick. But I guess this is 1,000-year-old, and the doctor even made that comment that he was impressed by the technology in such an old ship. So, what did you guys think of this episode overall, and what did I miss?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. I really enjoyed the episode. It kind of was, I guess a start to finish, it didn't feel like it was an hour, which is great and bad all at the same time, right? Because I wanted more, and I wanted this to be like a 2-hour special to figure out actually what's going to happen next. And I don't want to wait a week. So,
right.
It was a great episode. I think we got a lot into what's going on in the future. And I wanted to see some of the other star bases now, because, or what else is going on in Starfleet, especially because it's been so long since they've been out to the other star base. There's got to be others like that, where they've just kind of lost contact, and it makes you wonder if there's not like a fractured, and even further fractured than what we know, Starfleet out there where they all believe they're the only ones, you know? So I don't know. It left me a lot of questions.
I think the show's too fast paced for us to get that though, but I kind of hope they do. Like maybe that'll be season 4, bringing Starfleet back together and getting, trying to go to everywhere and search and see, oh, well, there used to be a starbase here, and is it still here? And they'll go and search all that out. That'd be a lot, but maybe that's what they'll do. It'll get us more off of a base storyline and go to more, episodic. It could do both, I guess. But I like the storyline personally, so I kind of hope they don't do that. But I would, at the same time, I know what you're saying. I would like to know what happened with all the other places. What do you think is going to happen next episode? Who's going to die? Somebody's dying on that planet. I think it's going to be Saru and Culber. And then I do think Stamets is going to be a villain. Maybe he'll take over for the scientist role for what's her face? When that one guy, because the one guy definitely didn't like what Osyraa was doing. The one scientist she had now, but if she's her husband, or I mean, if he's her husband, then that could complicate things. But he definitely wasn't happy with him phasering Ren or any of that stuff, or her phasering Ren.
Yeah, I don't know how I felt about that.
I kind of thought Ren was going to die. I don't know why. But I kind of thought he might have been the traitor too. I think we mentioned at one point. By the way, is there still a traitor, or are we past that now? Because I feel like we're past it. What do you guys think? Are we past there being a traitor on the ship? Or you think that might be revealed later?
I'm trying to think of when on the last episode we talked about this. Why was there a possibility for a traitor?
Because they knew how to get onto the system. They knew how They knew Stamets was the one that controlled the spore drive. They put that mind control thing on him. Like they knew what was going on. That was very premeditated. They knew how to get past the systems to warp over there. They knew too much about the ship, so I think there's got to be a spy. But I don't know if.
But it may not be a Discovery spy. Maybe it's just Federation. Maybe there's a Federation spy.
Right. We talked about that. Maybe being Vance, I think. Right? Didn't we say that?
I don't think so.
I
now
think
the conversation.
some of us did. I don't know that all of us were on board with that.
I think we were just speculating. I still think, honestly, I think you said it, Will, or no, I said this one. I still think it's Adira, and she's got like an implant on her, and that's why she can see what's his face, Blue, or not Blue. What's his name? The actor's name's Blue.
Gray,
yeah. I still think it's got something to do with that. She's transmitting data unknowingly or something. I don't know. You think they'd be able to pick that up though? So I don't know. That is a far stretch. I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. I'm going to give this one a 9, full of action. We got a lot of answers. Still a lot to go in one episode, though. I'm really curious what cliffhanger we're going to leave this on. And again,
there's not a third one? This is like literally the episode before the last one?
Yeah, one more episode.
Holy cow.
And like I said, I'm pretty sure that distress call that went to Michael's mom is going to bring the Vulcans, and the Romulans are going to come. They're all together now. I think they're going to come.
They're going to come too. Earth.
You know what though? I just had a thought. I forgot. They're really far away. The only reason they got there was because of the spore drive. So maybe they're not going to come. I don't know what's going to happen there. Like, how would they get there that fast? Because I can't remember. I think he said it was 3 weeks out, didn't they? Before they spore drived it, I think Vance, whatever his name is Vance, right? I think Vance said it was like a 3 week flight or something. And they're like, yeah, just use the spore drive. I might be wrong about that, but I do specifically remember them using the spore drive to get there, because they said, you guys just popped up on our radar. So yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not what's going to happen with them. But I don't know. I don't know what to think. That message meant something. It's gonna pop up again somewhere. I just don't know in what form.
Right. I like this episode quite a bit. I'm probably going to give this one a 8. I like the action. I like what was going on, the events that transpired, the anxiety that Michael was going through with everything, and then it was quite fun and entertaining to watch. Like Brad kind of had said, the hour was over before I knew it. I'm sitting there watching, and I was actually talking to you at the same time, and I was like, man, I'm already halfway through, and I'm like, shit, I don't think anything's really happened as far as like that. It's like answering questions, but building excitement. You know what I mean?
I definitely agree. Brad, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a solid 8.5.
Liked it quite a bit.
Huh?
So you liked it quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as opposed to a lot of the other ones we've seen, I think this is probably one of the better episodes. I'm not gonna say best, but one of the better episodes of the season.
Tell me, what did you think about the Great Burn? Since you weren't here last episode,
uh,
kind of a letdown, wasn't
yeah, I was a bit of a letdown. So I was on board. Yeah. So my quick synopsis, or my quick thoughts for last week, since I wasn't here, was just that the episode gave me a lot of things, gave a lot of great explanation for some things, like how that Kelpien stayed alive, gave some good insight into like um, well, I don't know what it gave me insight to. I enjoyed everything about the episode up until the point where he like caused the burn. Like that was everything else about that episode was great except for that.
Right.
So I would have given last week a solid 8.5 or 9. But that one feature, that one like 5-second plot hole, dropped it to like 6.5.
it? It was a
good
letdown.
point.
I mean, we'd said that too last week, that it was a really good episode until that burn thing. Like, because there was so much buildup for that. Like, it should have been something epic. But then me and Will were talking at the end, well, what if maybe it wasn't just by accident? What if maybe Starfleet sent this pregnant Kelpien out there to run this experiment to somehow turn this planet into the dilithium planet, so it was like they're doing. Now the kid thing, that was probably totally an accident, but still, like, what if the whole experiment was done by the Federation to try to turn a planet into dilithium, and that's what caused it all?
I think the planet was probably dilithium the whole time. I think the trick of all this wasn't that that wasn't the part about it. I think they were trying to justify this is like the reason he's able to do this, is he's so attuned with dilithium, is because he's been there so long, which that part was kind of meh as well. So I don't know about that. I think I don't know. I guess I hadn't thought about that Starfleet could have caused this that way. I don't know. I don't think that's in the cards. But I've also been wrong several times this season, so I'm willing to say that I really have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't seem plausible to me.
I just hope there's more to it. I hope that's not
Right.
the end of the burn.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll see. All right, any final thoughts on this one? What do you guys think is going to happen next week? Who's going to die? I already said who I thought. Who do you think is going to die, Brad?
I think Osira's going to die. I don't think we're going to see much from her. I don't think we're going to get a resolution of the Emerald Chain. I do think they're going to get the boot out of Starfleet, but I bet the MacGuffin for next, to keep us going for next season is going to be something like, they're going to crack the code on this whole dilithium thing, and it's just going to be reconstructing the Federation and finding out where, like, they're intertwined with the Emerald Chain. I think there's going to be more of that starbase they mentioned than anything else. So I know that's my thought.
I think that, well, I don't really know if we're going to lose anybody from the Federation. Maybe Vance. I think maybe we're going to get maybe a death there. But as far as what's going to happen, I think they're going to recapture the ship, and I think they're going to get there just in time to get Saru and Stamets, not Stamets, but Culber out just in time to save their lives, and if not, just in time to be able to say their goodbyes.
All right, everybody. Thanks for checking out our podcast. Please do us a favor, hit that follow and like button, and have yourself a great night.